Alright, it's October, it's spooky month, Halloween is coming up. So what not a better time to rank the best episodes to watch for Halloween. Now, funny enough, I had 3 perfect videos to help with this one. Those Halloween episodes, even more of those Halloween episodes, and just recently those episodes that are actually scary. Definitely go watch those last 2 if you want a recap of the episode and how I felt about them. I would also say watch the first one too, but since it was the first video in that series, I do talk really fast. Anyways, let's get started. Adventure Time has an episode that I just talked about, and those episodes are actually scary. I thought it was really good. Halloween makes it an even better time to watch it. Definitely sets a perfect mood if you want to be freaked out, while also making you question what the fuck did I just watch. It is for sure a must watch. Honestly, I'm surprised this show doesn't have a Halloween episode, but you can either choose this episode or the deer episode. The deer episode, the fucking deer episode. He told it twice. Whatever. Why did he do that? And then he tossed him. It's funny because I did watch this episode for those episodes that are actually scary, but I found the Blank Eye Girl episode to fit perfectly for that video. Don't worry, I'll talk about the deer episode in a future those episodes video. So for now, I'll put it in good. The Replacements. Yeah, who remembers this show? It has a very traditional Halloween episode. It has a Halloween spirit. It leans into the supposed supernatural side. I think it was a very solid episode, so I'm gonna put it in good. It's a pretty enjoyable watch. The Fresh Prince has a Halloween episode that I thought could have been better. This is another one where I feel like the episode could have went in a different direction, especially with the hexes and curses. I feel like that could have been more centered around Halloween or something. I also feel like towards the end of the episode, it got a little too fake serious. It does have some funny moments. But other than that, I feel like you're really not missing much. So I'm gonna have to put it in if you want more. Danny Phantom has a Halloween episode that I thought was okay. You know, Danny being Danny, almost fucking things up, and then he has to fix his mess. To me, this feels too much like a regular Danny Phantom episode, and it just so happens to be Halloween. I think it could have went in a better direction or a different direction entirely. I guess the ghost for the episode is cool looking. Other than that, nothing really stood out. So I'm gonna have to put it in Don't Waste Your Time. It's not ass, but it's not worth. Family Matters.
Hey, Kendrick just opened his mouth, and I'm about to put my dick.
Not that Family Matters. This Halloween episode is so fucking goofy. I have to put it in must watch. This has that boof ass horror movie vibe. It's really unbelievably wacky. It's kind of hilariously bad, but it's good bad. It's a really fun watch. You definitely have to throw this into the rotation. Regular Show has a Halloween episode that I talked about, and even more of those Halloween episodes. I thought it was something truly special. It's really good. It's funny, yet at the same time it's creepy. It's somewhat graphic. It has you on the edge of your seat wondering what does this damn creepy wizard dude want. This is no doubt a must watch. I know there are 5 other Halloween episodes, technically 5.5, since the episode I talked about was only the second half of that episode. So since I haven't talked about the rest of the terror tales of the park, in the future I'll make an entire video on all of them and rank each scary story. Sabrina has a Halloween episode I thought was really good. It's very entertaining. I think it does a good job of playing into people's fears like dolls and maybe being trapped in a house with a bunch of people who are crazy. I can't lie, when it comes to doll there are definitely some unsettling moments, and when it comes to the crazy party it does get pretty nutty. Yeah, overall it's kind of a wild ride, so I'm gonna put it in must watch. I know there are other Sabrina Halloween episodes, but I thought this one was the best. South Park has multiple Halloween episodes, but those can be saved for a future video since I haven't talked about them yet. The one I'm talking about is saying Super Sweet 16, a certified classic. I know it's South Park, but I feel like this episode is in a different league since this is 2000s South Park. It has a lot of wild and out of pocket things happening. Also, Biggie Smalls being Bloody Mary is genius. Buffy has a Halloween episode that I think is phenomenal. It's so fucking good. Absolutely a must watch. I love this episode. There's just so many twists and turns. You're questioning what is going on, what's gonna happen. It's eerie, it's unsettling, and it has a very interesting twist at the end. Now there's the other Buffy episode I talked about in those episodes that are actually scary called Hush. I think it's also a must watch. Definitely perfect for Halloween. It's creepy and unsettling. I think for the most part the concept of the episode is pretty interesting. Do I think it's scary? Well, you're gonna have to watch that video. Obviously you can really choose any episode from Buffy, but these are the only 2 that I watched. I do want to sit down at some point and watch the whole series. Alright, before before we continue, all the episodes going forward are from those Halloween episodes, and ironically I had a tier list in that video. It's been 2 years since I last seen these episodes. Let's see if anything will change. Also, if you've been enjoying this, hit the like button and subscribe. First up, Zoe 101. I don't want to watch this episode. This episode sucks. Yeah, let's just go ahead and make another tier for this again. It's so bad. There's nothing good about this episode. The side plot of Michael and Mark being chased is really fucking dumb. The fact that Michael is being chased because they think he's hurt, but yet it doesn't cross their minds that even though he's supposedly hurt, he's running perfectly fine. And the haunted house portion is way too over dramatic and over the top. Honestly, it's just a really annoying episode to watch. Hannah Montana's Halloween episode was a little bit better this time. I guess I can move it up to... but it's still pretty boring. It's just a bland Halloween episode where Molly's twin cousin tries to expose who Hannah really is. They didn't try to do anything interesting with this episode. It didn't lean into anything weird or didn't try to be creepy. I will say it was a lot more cringy this time around for certain parts. Boy Meets World's actual Halloween episode, it sucks. It's so hilariously bad, but it's not good bad. It somehow got worse watching it again. We're gonna move it down to burn this from my memory. You know, it's just a Boy Meets World episode and it just so happens to be Halloween. The whole witch plot doesn't make sense. It's really dumb. The only decent thing I can say about this episode is a cameo appearance by DJ Tanner and Sabrina. Honestly, instead of this episode, I think a better option would be the psychotic episode. It's season 6, episode 21, and it just so happens that I talked about this episode in those weird and odd episodes, which you should check out. I would put this episode in good. It gets pretty crazy.
People don't know about loot.
What the fuck? Wavy Wizard's Halloween episode, nothing has changed. It's still ass. Don't waste your time. The haunted house plot for this episode is such a lazy attempt. There was no effort in trying to make it enjoyable. I fell asleep a couple minutes into it. It's so uninteresting. A show about wizards and they couldn't have even gotten creative with it. The only positive thing I can say is the scene where one of the ghosts took a whole bowl of candy instead of one. That's real. American Dragon's Halloween episode, another one that I enjoyed a little more than last time. So I guess we can move it up to if you want more. It definitely feels more lively than some of these other ones. It was nice to see Jake bring the humans and the fairy tale creatures together for a party. I will say I am very curious as to the ages to some of these creatures, specifically this imp or whatever he is, because he's hitting on this girl who should be around Jake's age, which is 13. The Fairly Odd Parents Halloween episode has the making of a really good Halloween themed episode, and on paper it sounds like a fun idea, but I don't know what it is. I don't find it to be all that entertaining. It's rather boring. It feels empty and soulless. I think maybe if new characters were introduced that are related to Halloween, it could have been interesting. Other than that, I found myself getting sleepy, so it's gonna stay in. iCarly's Halloween episode, I feel about the same for both of them. They're nothing too crazy or special. They're solid episodes. They both have their funny moments.
Jumper cables!
How do you make your voice sound like that? I'm not doing it on purpose. Oh my god!
But they also have their annoying and cringe moments. I would leave both of them in the same tiers, except the first Halloween episode, since there's a lot of screaming, like it gets really unnecessary. So it doesn't make sense to have it in Z's. I'm gonna move it up to if you want more. The Proud Family's Halloween episode, you know, I feel the same way as I did in those Halloween episodes. It stays in the same tier. It's an okay episode. It's really goofy. Like, why the fuck is a superhero fighting a ghost? And why is the ghost such a goddamn hater? Also, the slang was killing me.
Hey, this Frightacula is the bomb diggity, y'all.
But I respect it for just having fun with this concept. Jimmy Neutron, honestly, you can choose a few episodes from this series. There's a Phantom of Retroland episode, which I just talked about in those episodes that are actually scary. I'm gonna put it in good. It has creepy moments. There's a Pizza Monster, the Lima Bean, and One of Us episode, which I haven't talked about yet. I will in a future those episodes video. So for now, I'll put the Pizza Monster episode in the Lima Bean and One of Us episode in good. Now, the Halloween episodes somehow somehow got worse from what I remember. I don't think it's a good episode. I have to move it 2 tiers down to ass. I don't know how I didn't realize this, but it's basically a low effort of Timmy's Halloween episode. This is low-key a depressing episode because even though it's Halloween, why the fuck is it so empty? Where is everyone? There's no Halloween spirit. Honestly, I just wanted the episode to be over. Hey Arnold's Halloween episode I think is better than what I initially thought when I rewatched it 2 years ago. It's very chaotic. It goes 0 to 100 real quick. There's a lot going on. I like how the hoax of an alien invasion throws a whole city into disarray. It kind of gives me World of the World vibes. I will say as a Halloween episode, it's whatever, but just in general overall, it's solid. So I'm gonna move it up and put it in good. It's entertaining. That's So Raven has a Halloween episode I thought was very intriguing. I don't know why I had it in Definitely gonna move it up to good. It's a really odd episode. You can tell they had a lot of fun with it. I want to say why cows, but I get it. You are what you eat. You know, be careful what you wish for. Also, Eddie, why the hell was he slurping on the green goop?
Yeah, that's definitely feet.
Yeah, you a freaky frog. What the fuck is wrong with you? Kim Possible has a Halloween episode that I think is pretty good and enjoyable, but I'm gonna cheat with this one because while yes, it does kind of just feel like a Kim Possible episode and it happens to be Halloween, it still overall is a good episode. I like how Kim in this episode is essentially Pinocchio, but instead of her nose getting longer, it's the bracelet that's stuck to her wrist that keeps evolving into a suit of armor the more stress she's under, which is when she lies. It's a nice little twist. Foster's has a pretty simple and straightforward Halloween episode. It's just Night of the Living Dead, or I guess Shaun of the Dead since it's comedic. I feel the same way about it as I did in those Halloween episodes, so it stays in the same tier. You know, it's really enjoyable. I will say it's insane how casual Blue is about murdering Mr. Harriman. Also, it's kind of wild what Candy does to Mac.
Yo, little bro's crashing out, dude. What the fuck?
Ed, Ed and Eddie has a Halloween episode, to put simply, is a trip. I'm gonna keep it in the same tier, but I do feel like watching this episode while high probably bumps it up to must watch. Yeah, there's really not much else to say except that Ed is a bug out. Zach and Cody has a Halloween episode I think is very solid. In terms of creepiness, it starts off pretty strong, but once Orenstein is set free, it becomes just like any other Zach and Cody episode, which isn't a bad thing. I just wish it would have kept that creepiness for a good chunk of the episode. I definitely would have moved it up, but it's gonna stay in the same tier. Now, it also has a regular episode that is very ominous for no reason. I think it's fantastic. They did a phenomenal job with the sound design and music. It has an eerie ambiance, even though it's comedic throughout.
And there's a scary ghost in here, and she's mad. Mommy!
It has a good balance of comedy and spookiness. If you had to pick one of these, this episode is the go-to. SpongeBob has a Halloween episode that is a certified classic, but without the nostalgia goggles, it's okay. I'm gonna move it down to I guess if you want more. It's nothing special. You wouldn't be missing anything. Phil of the Future has a Halloween episode that I think is better than what you would imagine. I love the nod to the Twilight Zone at the beginning of the episode. I know it's a pretty silly concept, Debbie being a cyborg, her demanding 50,000 cupcakes to be made, and the way to defeat her is to stress her out and eat said cupcakes, but they somehow pull it off and make it work well. It also low-key at times has a creepy atmosphere to it. To me, this is another one where they just had fun with it. It stays in the same tier. Billy and Mandy, honestly, you can pick a lot of episodes from the series, but obviously it has the 2 Halloween episodes, or I guess 1.5, since the first episode is short and basic, just about Grimm somehow getting confused for someone's kid. It's gonna stay in the same tier. Now, the actual Halloween episode is a big step up. It's really good. It has a certain atmosphere to it, and I don't know what it is, but I'm a big fan of Jack. I like how he starts off as this goofy, dorky looking character. Like, why the fuck does he look like that? And why is he walking like that? But then he ends up being kind of menacing. Yeah, it's gonna stay in the same tier. Nezza Classified has a Halloween episode that's a perfect example of just have fun with it, with doing episodes outside the norm when it comes to your series, especially for the holidays. It obviously stays as a must watch. I absolutely adore this episode, probably more so than others because the first half is a parody of Weekend at Bernie's, which I don't even know how I came across this movie because it came out before I was born, but it's such a fun watch. Then there's the second half of the episode, which I think is pretty creative. You know, let's just turn this school into a supernatural one. Also, Mose is demented for trying to kill her classmates so they can turn to ghosts.
Hey Lisa, want to become a ghost? It's tons of fun.
I don't know. What do I
have to do?
Even Steven's Halloween episode is very peculiar. This is another one that you can tell they just had fun with. From the decorations in the school to all the students dressed in costumes. Then there's the shocking reveal of the students having no eyeballs. Definitely not something you would expect from a Disney show. Oh yeah, what is good with them and the goddamn milk? Oh, why is he throwing that shit like that? God damn. Lizzie McGuire's Halloween episode, I don't know what it is. It's kind of a simple episode, but yeah, it's pretty terrifying. These skeletons definitely have left a strong impression on me from when I was a kid. They are very much creepy. I feel like they don't overdo it. They don't show them too much. You know that there's all these weird things going on and that they're lurking out there somewhere watching. What makes this a little more unsettling is the fact that when Miranda and Kate are being chased by zombified Lizzie, the party is still going on without a care in the world. No concern as to why they are screaming. And finally, Boy Meets World's not Halloween episode, I absolutely positively love because I am a big fan of slasher movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. This is just a parody of those classic schlocky slasher movies. It plays into all the tropes and cliches. I know when you hear all that, it may seem like an unserious and comedic episode, especially when you have the South Park references.
Something horrible is about to walk in that door right now.
We'll always remember he was that tall.
Oh my gosh! They killed Kenny!
But it still does a good job of being able to make you anxious and uncomfortable with some of the lighting, the camera angles, the sound choices, and this weird janitor who doesn't speak and just points at everyone in the classroom. Yeah, this is a must in the rotation. That's all the episodes. This is what the list looks like at the end of all this. If I had a top 5, it would be Even Stevens, Regular Show, Adventure Time, Boy Meets World, and Buffy. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. What are some of your favorites to watch? Like and subscribe, share with whoever you think might enjoy my content. Other than that, I'm out.